There we go. Welcome one,
Okay.
welcome all. Hi Tiasha.
Hi.
Where have you been, Tiasha?
I've been hiding.
Good, good, good.
Oh yeah, but I
Anyway,
can
I
sing now. You know the
okay.
song how it goes like, guess who's back? Back
Guess who
again.
is back?
Yasha's back. Tell a friend.
Back, eh? Yes. That's Eminem.
Yes,
That's so cool. It's so nice to have you again with us, Tiasha. How is the
I'm
holiday
happy to be
going?
here. Who? That's a very good question. It's going well overall. I like it,
Perfect. I'm happy about that.
but it's just not the same, man. I think I'm disappointed a little bit.
Disappointed about what? Tell me about that, please. What are you disappointed about?
Um,
You're supposed to be enjoying your holiday.
yes. No, listen, like I said, overall, it's fine. It's nice to be home. It's nice to be with my family, most importantly, especially my mom, my brother, and, seeing like close family and everything. But
Okay.
man, I don't know. The vibe is not the same. I don't feel at home anymore.
Okay.
So,
Now
yeah,
that you make that statement, we have to really talk about that.
let's go.
My one of the things that happens to us, I'm being specific in this regard to us Nigerians, Africans that live
Hmm.
here in Europe, we always have this intention, majority of us, that we want to go back to our country to make a meaningful contribution and change things for good. So we are majority of us are always homesick.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that you've been away from your quote and unquote home country for the past 6 years with your family and your
Yep.
kids.
Hmm.
How does it feel like returning after 6 years to your home country?
Well, it's not been it hasn't been 6 years. It's been four and a half. The last
Okay.
time I was home was, I mean, I was living in January 2020.
Okay.
So then, due to pandemic and then me, getting pregnant and having like small babies, like I delivered twins, right? Traveling home was not possible. So it's
Good.
been, yeah, 4.5 years since I haven't stepped foot in the homeland. Um, I don't know, Pedro. Let me say it like that.
Okay.
Everything has changed. The vibe, the people, the environment alone, like it threw me. I just can't explain. Like it might sound stupid to some people, but just like because where our family house is in the center of a town, and now looking through the bedroom window, which is turned to the main street, just looking at the fact that they changed everything. Like even the road is not the same anymore. It's just like it's different. And then there are some people also that contribute to that because I feel like now rarely who knows how to talk to me, which is very, very funny. Like, why am I different? you know, I have a feeling like, apart from asking me, so how are you doing in England? Or like, are you having fun here? There is no actual conversation. You know what I mean? Like, they don't
Yeah.
know how to interact with me anymore. And I'm talking about people that actually knew me before.
Wow.
It- it's
That's a
funny,
lot.
and it's yes, and it took the vibe away. Like, don't get me wrong, when I
No.
stood here in the middle of a night when I arrived from the airport, it was like four something in the morning with kids and stuff, and I was here with my mom on a balcony. Like, I had tears in my eyes. I was saying like, oh, I'm at home, I can't believe I'm at home. But then now spending such a long time here, I don't know, like I don't feel that vibe. And it's like I want to, but I can't. Like I'm trying, I'm really trying. telling myself, this is your home. Come on, like, show the kids and stuff. But it's just not there.
Is this a resistance from you personally? I mean, what exactly is holding you back? I'm trying to understand why that feelings
You
is not
see,
there.
I don't know, but as you know, and maybe other people that are listening, I was
Mhm.
thinking that it might be also connected to the fact that I lost my grandma, who was, the main character in our family. We lost her in December last year. And it might be also that feeling that she's no longer here and like I can't go to see her. I was thinking in that way. Or, let's be honest, I'm living away from family. I'm living away from everyone's help day in, day out. And I feel like that I got used to not having these certain people around anymore, like, offering me help around the kids or just like spending time with me. It might also contribute to that feeling. Because, I mean, come on, I was born here, I was bred and raised here. For like, I can't be the one who just cut that off. No, that's not my home anymore because it will always be. But what happened along the lines, I have no bloody idea.
Yeah, this is this is something that is common, I believe, for those of us that live in the diaspora. In this sense, that you are homesick when you are away from your home, but when you get back home, it's a different ball game entirely. So, in
Yes.
your discussion, I was okay. You made reference to not being able, you don't feel the vibe, and
Hmm.
based on that, I may ask, what about your friends? Your friends that remain back home, and what has changed in their life, and what happened to your friendship with them?
Mm, I met in the time that I'm here only one friend. That's my best friend of 20 plus years.
Okay.
With her, although it was very difficult to find time to meet in peace and everything, we struggled with that. But when we saw, nothing has changed between me and her. You know,
Yeah.
we just had a conversation like we just had a drink. I don't know, 3 days ago. So with
Okay.
that, like it hasn't changed. And I just came basically today from the birthday party of her daughter as well. So it's like I didn't lose that connection with her. Um, but that's it. Other friends are not available or whatever the reasons are. Yeah, people change, Pedro. The funny part about it is, and that it's not like pointing finger on anyone, but the funny
No,
thing
of
is
course.
that people, I don't know for what reason, at least that's the feeling that I got, see me as something, I don't know, something special. Like, oh my gosh, she's living in England, she's away from home. Um,
Hmm.
and I feel like that, I don't know whether it's jealousy or just disconnection that they're feeling. I have no idea, but it's very sad that they don't make an effort, because I'm here. I came. You know that I'm available. Like, let me know when you are available because you have a routine. I haven't been here. So you have a
Okay.
routine. You reach out to me. You understand? You know that I'm here. I
Hmm.
let you know that I'm here. Now it's up to you to decide whether you want to see me or not. Because me now just visiting, I have no routine now. I have no job here. I'm just on holiday. So like if you tell me that you want to meet, of course I'm gonna make an effort. But if you don't make an effort to meet me halfway and contact me, then I'm sorry, I won't either. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I know how to manage everything alone. Like I don't have these people around me in England, so toodles, or I don't know what to say. But yeah,
The thing, like they say, it takes two to tango, and you put your card on the table, and at the end of the day, let's be honest, you are the visitor here. So
Mhm.
it would have been nice that the ones we can call the locals in this situation, your friends that are home based, at least it should have been an exciting thing, in my opinion, that they haven't seen this their dear friend for a very long period of time. She's around. I would have, if I were in their shoe, I would have do everything humanly possible to be able to, meet this friend, catch up, talk about
Mhm.
things we haven't had the possibility to discuss, you know, just to know what is going on in our life
Yeah.
and everything. That would have been the thing that I would do, I would have done if I were in their shoes. However, but
Mhm.
this is life, and and this is the reason why I believe at times living in the diaspora could be very complicated for us, because we have friends that we grew up with, and for one reason or the other, living far away from each other, the in it has effect,
Yeah, of
even
course.
if we cannot call it negatively, but a relatively negative effect on our relationship. That you had stories and great memories with these people, but the
Mhm.
fact remains that you are no longer very close due to distance.
You see,
Meanwhile,
the funny part is what you're
mhm,
saying now. Like, I completely agree, but um, like, I don't even have an expectation from anyone. Like, even when I got here, I didn't. Like, I even removed myself from town for like good 3 weeks, and I was at the village house where my family has like this village
good.
house and stuff. I
Mhm.
removed myself, also because of the kids and stuff. The twins especially are too young, and I didn't want all these people in their face because the journey here was quite difficult and long and everything. So I wanted them to adjust, to the environment and everything. Uh,
Yes.
so yeah, my expectations are not big, and I think that more what disturbs me in all this is not that these supposedly friends are not taking time. I think that I have more problem when the family doesn't, or like
Okay.
at least some part of extended family, um, which happened in my case as well. Like, I know everybody's so busy. Like, everybody, has their own lives and all of that. But like, I mean, come on, really? A weekend in your busy schedule during the week you are working, you have weekend free. Why the hell can't you take time and meet up? Like, why is that so difficult? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's also contributing to the fact that you don't feel at home. And I'm not talking just about me. I know the stories that are also, you know, kind of a similar to mine, and they're feeling the same way. And it's just so sad to know that, like, I mean, come on. Just because I'm living, I don't know, 2,000 kilometers away, it doesn't mean that I don't exist,
That's
you
true.
know?
That's true.
Because it happens. Um, there was some time ago, I, I'll call her a friend who also lives abroad, and she also feels the same way. Like, people stopped reaching out. Like it's kind of like a syndrome of a person who relocated. Like, we're kind of feeling the same way, you know. I'm not asking you to call or text every single day, or even every single week, for that matter. But just like, you know, say hi from time to time. And then I'm asking myself, if we all lived in the same town, her story that she said, like, in her case, I don't know, maybe you or whoever relocated. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just reach out, God damn it. I for instance, I'm reaching out to my family. I say hi, I send messages. My cousin, when she went to school, the first day of school and stuff, like, I text, I I wish her a nice journey, I mean, school journey, and for the first holidays, like enjoy the first holidays, and the next year I remember again, and I get nothing back, and I'm like, yeah, well, okay, then I stop reaching out. And it's just, yeah, I feel like people disconnect themselves, especially like those that you think that you're supposed to be close with, and then you have a complete stranger, or I mean, stranger, you know what I mean, not bloodly related or whatever, not your friend, just somebody you know from a town, who is more
Yes.
interested in your life and your well-being than actually either your close friend or even a family member. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, but I mean, I know people are fucked. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, but
not to this extent.
yes, yes. At times it becomes very confusing. That there was a time I did a show with EC Nedbenebo concerning being married abroad. You know,
Mhm,
bringing relatives into this mix is something that at times is very personal for me, because to be very honest, it's not as if I know all of my nieces and nephews around the world. I live in the diaspora and I have my family too. It would have been nice that once in a while we're able to catch up so that
mhm,
we can at least get to know each other. Our children can get to know their extended family members. But
mhm.
if you happen to be the only one reaching out to everybody, at times it becomes, you as a human being, I mean, it is one of the things that we would like to avoid in life, to be the one that is disturbing the peace of every other person around us. So when you happens to be the only one reaching out, it's as if you are the only one that has nothing important to do, and that's the reason why you are the only one
Yes,
calling.
but you know what? Here, right? It might be a little bit off topic, but still, connected to it, kind of. What
It's okay.
bothers me more is that people in general,
Hmm.
noticeable of late, um, when it comes to family members, they kind of take them for granted. They know they are there. They know they're, like, we are related, whatever. If we have, like, I don't know, holiday celebration as Christmas or maybe Easter and stuff, we're gonna meet, or if not anything else, at the funeral of somebody, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know that you have that connection, like you have somebody there. But where I have a problem, and I think that this problem got bigger now since I'm away from the family members, is that family members in general do not put an effort into family as much as they do to their friends. Like, I will never understand how it is better or more entertaining or more fun or, I don't know, more beneficial on a long run
Hmm.
to make or take time for a friend who you know for, let's say, 4 years, then making or taking time for a family member who was there since day one. I just don't get it. Like, I always ask these people, okay, so these friends or family friends or whatever you want to call them, who are
Hmm.
in your life now for, let's say, the past 4 years, possibly because the kids are classmates, let's say, right? That's how you connected. um, you go places, you understand, you pick their phone calls, you message them, you know their whereabouts, you go to holidays together, maybe to the seaside or skiing, whatever you're doing, you understand, you go everywhere, you do everything, you're having so much fun. But what about your family? Like, for me, for example, if I'm here now and I know you took time all of your busy schedule to, let's say, go to the concert with those friends, or I don't know, went to the seaside extra time because you wanted to hang out, but you didn't take time to see your family member who wasn't here for the past 5 years, let's say. I mean, to me, that's sickening. Absolutely sickening. I'm very, very disappointed. I'm speaking for my case now, and I'm disappointed for everyone else who are experiencing this thing. And again, I'm not expecting the world to turn around me, because that's something that I, don't fly with. But I mean, come on, take time. Let's do picnic, or let's hang out one afternoon. Not that you call me the last minute. Hey, today we are not busy. Do you mind coming? Well, when? It's 4 p.m. My kids are going to bed at, in 3 hours. I need to be back home. To me, that's not hanging out. To me, that's not family time. To me, that's nothing. So, it's better not to do it then. You know what I mean? Like, just let it go. Because in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be back to my second home with my husband reunited. You understand? And living my life. So, you know what I mean? It's just those little things, and I think that they contribute to me not feeling the vibe I'm at home.
So true. So
Yeah,
true. I must be honest with you. I mean, speaking from our perspective and the things that I know coming from the other side of the ocean,
yeah,
the feelings is the same. The feelings is the same, to be very honest, and the this is the reality that most of us go through as well. Not apart from that, some of us, for the fact that we believe in this, despite the fact that we live in the 21st century, we still believe in this communal life one way or the other. Coupled
hmm,
with living abroad, at times come with the other, there's another layer to it, to some of us losing even friendship due to some of investments that we have done that didn't go well. Trusting a friend, a brother, to be able to do one or two things together business wise, and at the end of the day they will take advantage of it because you are not practically present there in your home country, and it creates a lot of friction. Then I begin
hmm,
to ask, can we I begin to imagine rather. I think it would be honest for us to say today, just like in the case of intimate relationship, distance at times could actually spoil some friendship as well that we have cultivated
definitely,
over a long period of time.
definitely. But you know what? Also, this distance also involves the fact that some people, like I said before, and I
Mhm.
noticed that now, they ask me, "So how are you doing? How is life in England?" That's a very common question. Um,
I think that's a wrong question to ask.
but I will say that every second person asks me that. And the last time I said, listen, whatever I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna sound that I'm full of myself.
And
I really
beside
do
that is
not
not a question. That is not a question that is asking Tiasha, how do you do? How are you, Tiasha? Is a different thing from how is life in England.
exactly, exactly. But just today somebody asked me. Uh, it's uh, it's somebody that I know. I think this is I was born. I mean,
Okay.
through my uncle and stuff. And I said, listen, whatever, exactly what I said. I don't like whatever I'm gonna tell you. It's gonna sound that I'm full of myself. And he was like,
Okay.
no, just be honest. Like you say the way it is. And I go like, I'm happy. I have a life sorted. I have there what I didn't have here in my home country. Um, and yeah, like England fulfills me because it makes my husband happy. Then potentially, obviously, it makes me happy. Seeing him like, I mean, come on, my partner, my husband. My ride or die. Um, he's glowing. He found himself, which brought it on me. Then I found
Hmm.
myself. I proved that I can do it on my own. I
Yeah.
proved that I am stronger than I thought, and all that along. So yes, and I see certain faces then, and I'm not just him, but like in general, when they look at you like, oh, there she goes. Oh yeah, and that's exactly why I don't want to answer these questions, because I believe that there is a lot of people in my circle that removed themselves first after I moved because they saw something maybe that they would want to do, and they couldn't. I don't know. I'm speculating. Fine. Then I lost a part of the circle when questions like this started surfacing, and I was honest that I'm happy. I'm doing
Mhm.
well. I have job, well paid job. Everything is like it's supposed to be. Then these people remove themselves. Then okay, general distance removes them. Then I joined your podcast somewhere. She's in England doing a podcast with somebody. Then that removes some amount of people, and I'm just like, I mean, why? What have I done? If you ask me now, how are you doing in England? I'm gonna tell you straight up. That's how it is. And you see now how I started like even warning them before, because I know what follows. And then when I
Yeah,
leave, they're gonna be, oh, Tiasha was full of herself. She's living now in England. She's like this and that. I don't want that, because that's not me. That's not who I am. Because I always say there are planes going daily to the countries that we are now living, right? Sit on it, go there, try life. It's bloody difficult. I
absolutely.
know, other people know how it is. You start from zero, you start from scratch, sometimes with no money in your pocket. You need to start afresh. Yet alone, mind you, I went there with a child. I risked a lot. And I don't want people to applaud me for that. Just a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with somebody and I said, don't applaud me. I am applauding you because you were able in the most difficult times to stay and make it. I failed and I needed to relocate and try it somewhere else. So I'm applauding you rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
get
you
you.
know,
Even though I
and
don't agree
everybody,
with it, I get you.
I mean, yeah, of course, like we all have different experiences, but like, I don't know. I feel like I don't deserve. I mean, deserve applaud. Yes, I do in a way, because I proved how strong I am. But then I'm always, nobody sees what is backstage. Everybody see the glow on the stage.
Of course.
What is happening at the back, like the way that I slept in basically empty apartment with a 1-year-old child at the beginning for months. Nobody sees that. Nobody knows that I had only 2 pods that I took from Slovenia when I was relocating, right? Had 2 pods and some cutleries there, and drinking from a cup that we bought for like few pounds. You understand? Like nobody sees that struggle. Nobody sees the struggle, how difficult it was to actually afford a couch to put in the living room so my daughter is gonna have somewhere to sit. Not to
Mhm.
mention that the TV, we couldn't afford the TV for the first 8 or 9 months. You understand? Why don't you ask me those things? All you see is that, stage, Tiasha is in England. Yeah, well, or you are now
Yeah.
in Italy, right? And you are making it. You have a good job. You have a podcast. You understand? You created a family. But what was behind that? That nobody cares.
That is the reason why I said earlier on that is a wrong answer. Oftentimes, when they ask how is life in that country, they are not asking about you personally. They are not asking how do you do, how do you feel, how are things for you. They ask a very vague and generalized question: how is life in Italy? How is life in Germany or whatever country that the person may be? And it is actually not. It's a selfish question, and oftentimes it has nothing to do with the subject that they ask the question to. So
True.
I, I wish they would be able to construct a better question to ask the person so that you can at least something that has to do with you, because the well-being of the person, at least being a friend, they should be interested in about your well-being as well. But like they say, if you know that somebody do not wish you well, is not happy about the good news that you have whatsoever, it is better that we leave the person alone.
Hmm.
We stay very far away from them. And I'm happy about your experience in the sense that it's not that it's because it is a positive one or a negative one. This is part of life. It's a learning process for all of us. And it is
Yes.
actually very painful losing some friends because it would have been better that we're able to construct and live together because one way or the other, there is another generation after us. We have kids that we grow up, so we have those that we're going to leave this world for. It would have been nice that we're
Yeah.
able to pass down our knowledge and everything that we have, even as friends, to the next generation. But oftentimes that is life; it doesn't go that way. And
Hmm.
this brings me to the idea or a question that I believe is very interesting to ask you. If you don't feel at home with the way you describe it, do you now have a new home?
I have a home next to
And
my
where is that?
husband. Next to my husband.
In the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Good. Because, like like they say, for every 100 feet that you take, that you reach, life changes, the context changes, and everything. So, do you now see yourself as a British?
No, that's the funny part. No. Um, no.
Isn't
I
that
will always be.
conflicting?
I know.
Is that not
I will.
crazy?
The thing is that um, home is where the heart is. They say, right?
Perfect. Hence
Um,
the reason I asked the question. Is your
yeah.
heart in
Look,
Slovenia or is your heart in the UK?
no, my heart. I think that after all of this, I just realized my heart is in UK. And don't get me wrong, I love Slovenia. I love my family. It will always be my home country, and I will be returning. Most definitely. I even want my kids, like, I'm planning next year to come back for summer holiday. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not that long, don't get me wrong. But I feel like creating a family with my husband all on our own, doing everything together from the scratch,
Yes.
establishing ourselves, our careers, everything surrounding us. um, that's my home now. That's where my future is. So I want to look towards the future, my kids' future, when it comes to education, and they're establishing their lives and stuff like that. And Slovenia is my beginning. This is where I became who I am. So I will always, no, I'll say it like differently. It will always have a special place in my heart, with
Good.
my family included, of course. But I think because we've done it on our own, with the help of each other, with the support of each other, I know now that I can do it on my own, and he can do it on his own, you understand, without everyone there. And we
Yes.
together created a beautiful team that is basically like a bulldozer, just going, just going. And I'm proud of that, and I think that this is the reason why I feel they're more connected, because I came across the disconnection here in too many people, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that when I return home, there is just a single person waiting for me and our kids, to return and unite and continue being that bulldozer that is just going. um, I think that's the reason why I feel that way.
I like this perspective of yours. I think this is very important. I think this is very important, and I hope in the future another discussion that we'll be able to have with Chichi Igwe, I will be able to touch on things like this as well. that has to do with living in the diaspora and as a family as well. Because you said
Yeah.
something to me that is very, very important. You and your husband, due to necessity, I will say, happens to
Mm-hmm.
be a formidable team. And
Yes.
having just this experience now has showed you, either for good or for bad, you know who got your back.
Yes.
No one is perfect. Your husband, by all means, will have his shortcomings, just like you yourself. But this experience itself has shown to you it doesn't matter if you went to kindergarten, nursery school, whatsoever, together with the person. As things stand today, you know for a fact who got your back. And that
Yes.
was the reason when I asked the question, where is your home? Intentionally, and you answer rightfully that home is where your heart is. And
Yeah.
there is no better way to describe it the way you have done. And I'm really happy about it. And I hope that those that are listening to us tonight and those that will come across this video, they do find it possible for them, especially for those of us that are living in the diaspora, to test some of these waters. I will say it. Go back home, see for a fact those friends that you believe that you have, if they are still there for you, even some family members and the rest. I think it will help a lot of families that are having difficulties, especially the diasporans that are having some difficulties, thinking that if the chips are down, I will leave either my husband or my wife and go back home and do this and do that. I can tell you categorically clear from even your experience is positive. It's not as if you were even investing with these friends. We are not talking of finance being involved here. It's not as if you were sending money
Yes.
for someone to construct a building for you or whatsoever. But this is very, very telling. I wish, listening to you, I wish I could just have if invited some people to be able to hear this discussion of this nature, especially because of the nature of job that I do. I do settle issues between couples that are related to investment back home in Africa. I want to do this. My husband don't want to do this. I have a brother that should have been able to help us and everything. And oftentimes problems do arise on
Of
things like
course.
this. So
I mean,
thank you so
it's
much.
it's expect it's expected, and also we are completely different. We are different
Yes.
individuals. We take things different. Don't get me wrong. When I returned home in January 2020, I mean back to England, home.
Yes.
Um, when the pandemic hit,
Hmm.
um, I was struggling a little bit. I was saying to myself, "Oh, I'm not gonna see a family." Then, another year has passed, and there was still a little bit of struggle. But as the
Hmm.
years were passing, it got easier and easier.
Yeah.
And then in between, my mom visited, so that need, of home also, disappeared with
Hmm.
her. Um, it's just like, I'm actually planning on doing it like that. Come. You should come to England one time a year, and I will come to Slovenia one time a year. Because I don't feel like it's important just for me to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I lost that need of I always need to come. I need to. I need to. Um, so yeah, it's and if you don't like, as I didn't, I needed to convince my mom to travel. Um, at first, those years, I did struggle a little bit because, and that's why I can relate to people, the homesick ones and stuff, because it is
Yeah.
present. But,
Yes.
rather than putting an energy into thinking of how homesick you are and, reminiscing of, your home and memories and whatever, um, because that's always the easiest. I would rather see people invest in their future, if in a partner, if they have. And,
Hmm.
I didn't agree with everything that my husband wanted to do or planned to do. he didn't agree with everything that I wanted to do. And that's completely normal. It's natural. We are different individuals, regardless of us being in a union, you know?
Yes.
Um, but I feel like the people just lost patience. They lost the need of compromises or the feeling of compromises. They lost the feeling of understanding, the egoistic type of views, brainwashed them completely. The selfishness and, me is always the problem. And
Mm.
I'm not saying I can also be me sometimes, when I'm fed up with everything. Now it's time for me.
We are humans,
Fine.
Tiasha. These things are not
Exactly.
part of life.
Well, I want to make also those who are listening aware that, yeah, I also have those moments, so I do understand. It's not that I don't, but it's just like this effort into those that are closest to you, and
Mhm.
for a fact they're gonna have your back. Like, why don't you have their back? you know
Yeah, but oftentimes that's not the case. It's
I
you
know.
never know what other people
I
have in
know.
their mind, and
Hey, listen, one can hope and one can dream, right? And I'm,
yes,
I'm like, when it comes to that, I'm passionate about it, and I still want to believe that, there is gonna be some apocalyptic brainwash or something that is gonna, reset humanity. Yeah, I
yes.
still hope.
Look, I from the community that I come from, as a Nigerian living here in Italy, and
Yeah,
we have a lot of experiences. In fact, there is a common saying among us that whenever you go abroad, oftentimes for your extended family, they have sacrificed that person for economic to fulfill their economic need. You know,
yeah.
I saw a video of a young girl from the United Kingdom the other day was relating a story of how her father, right from when she was very young on up to adulthood, her father did everything humanly possible to send financial assistance to his brothers and everybody back home. By all means, it is good. There is no problem. But what the young lady couldn't understand was why, after her dad has done all of these things, the same extended family members today are trying to pass down that idea of asking every now and then of economic help to the young children, that is to their brothers' children that are living in the UK. It's like you having a brother or a cousin in Slovenia today. In the next 10, 15 years, we'll be asking your children to send them financial help back home in Slovenia. The young lady couldn't understand it. This is something that she grew up seeing her father doing. At the same time, they are not passing it down. So her question was that why are these my extended family members? By all means, things are difficult in Africa or in their but for goodness sake, can they pick up themselves, at least find a situation and do things for themselves? Why would they pass that burden to the children of their uncle? It might sound strange, it might sound crazy, but in my community, some things like this do happen. And I will add another thing to it. I live here in Italy. I knew some people, they have big mansions back home in Africa. It might look as if I'm spilling peas here on my podcast, but let's call it spade a spade. We are here to be honest with each other. They have
Exactly.
big mansions and everything back home in Africa. But if you see where they are living here in Europe, it's a disgrace.
Hmm.
They can barely survive. They are living in a place that is not even good for a dog to live here in Europe. Some of them are living in council houses and everything. You know how these conditions could be because, like they say generally, if they feed you, they will control you. So they live in a
Hmm.
condition whereby you really, 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 really have to make, or rather, I will use the word, I don't know what Facebook may be able to, but you really have, as a human being, devalue yourself to be accepting those conditions. Like,
Hmm.
for goodness sake, you are not a disabled person. Even a disabled person should not accept some conditions like that. So what I'm saying is that living in diaspora at times, not only does it create conflict between friends and family members, at times some of us, due to our understanding of the society that we live in or due to our upbringing, I genuinely believe that this has to do with our upbringing. You are supposed to be your brother's keeper, fine. But to what extent, Tiasha? Should I be my brother's keeper to the detriment of my family?
No.
You see where I'm going with it. You see the reason why I am saying that I would like to take up this issue with Chichi Igwe, for instance, that is actually an expert on these family matters and everything. And
Yeah.
honestly, it may not be your experience, but I'm just breaking something that is from my community. It's very rampant. I don't know
I mean,
for
it's not
you
just
being married to an African, have you noticed this
I
too? Does
I
your
know
husband have this
it
problem?
is. Yes. At first I really struggled with understanding, like, yeah, so what if you're in Europe? Do they think that the money grows on tree or what? Do they know that you also struggle? Do you know that Europe is not a promised land, as many Africans might think?
I can
Or
guarantee you
like,
they
let's
do.
say, yeah, I know they do. I do know now, but I've been with him for 14 years, and all I've been listening is, Richard, we need, you know. Um, so, like, don't get me wrong. When it comes to his parents, I'm all for it.
Hmm.
I always tell him whatever they need, don't even hide it from me. Like, I want to know, I want to be involved because they are my in-laws and they're an important part of my life as well. Um, so for that, I agree. I do not agree with lazy asses of certain family members, his or others, that I know if they made an effort, they would earn bread. But I feel like they just decided for some stupid kind of life and expect then that's the one in a foreign country is gonna take care of them. That's where I start having problems. Um,
Yes.
this is also the reason why I haven't been down there, because I know for a fact that if we go, it's not just paying for our tickets, it's the fact that I need to have extra money because cousins and uncles and aunties that he might not even know will appear out of nowhere,
Yes.
you know?
That's
And
true.
these expectations, what I hate the most, Pedro? Hated that you guys that live, and I'm talking about African community, you guys that live abroad and are trying to make it and establish your life with your, so to speak, new families. Seeing you guys killing yourselves, um, not just fighting the environment because it is
Hmm.
different and the cultural shocks and everything, but carrying the burden somewhere at the back of your head that,
Yes.
if not anything else, there's gonna come to a time when somebody's gonna lose a family member, and if not anything else, you're gonna need to pay the funeral. You know, um, it's so sad to see
Yes.
the expectations of the community down under, um, and putting all that burdens on you. And no matter what kind of a person you are, don't get me wrong, there are people who, like, because I remember ECO TV also speaking about this mindset. You need to reset,
Yeah.
how she also needed to escape this and stuff. But the fact remains the same. Some people are so traditional and believe in what they were raised in, or are scared to step away from it due to, like, respect, so to speak, or whatever it involves. um, that they are caught in that,
Cycle.
believing that they, yeah, and believing that they need to be available and present and support financially, morally, physically, if possible, everybody in a family. Um,
Tiasha, I'm an African. I understand, and I don't want anybody to take it wrongly or take away from our discussion that like, I'm telling people not to help their siblings, relatives, whatsoever. But I am asking. We live here in Europe. We understand the society. We know how things are, the way things are structured, and everything. I have literally been involved in terms of settling issues of cases whereby trying to help relatives back home in Africa destabilizes the economic situation of couples as a family here in Europe.
yeah,
So, how should I say now we need, even for us in my community, a sort of re education or rewiring to bring to the reality of what things are here? I don't think it is beautiful, and this thing is affecting even that aspect, that idea that is very famous or popular today. The issue, the idea of generational wealth. If you do not save anything for your children upfront, paying it forward, if you have expend all your resources on your relative behind you, what will you have for the future for your children? One thing is to say go to school, because some people, as we speak today, although we are living in the 21st century, some people still work with the idea of the industrial era, 19th,
hmm
18th century idea, where you have to go to school, then you get a job and live. That no longer work for a lot
yeah,
of job for so many reasons. So going to school alone may not even help you anymore. So we need to be able to rethink a new way forward. And that has to do with even being able to give assistance to our siblings and everything back home. I'm sorry to, but I really want to share this perspective because I know that you are married to an African. I just want to know your perspective concerning this as well. If you have had issues with the idea of trying of maybe expending your resources that will be helpful for you and your family here to other people that you may never even meet in your life. They don't have, they've never babysit your child. They may never in this life and everything. But mind you, it is good to help, but it shouldn't destabilize the family. And I've seen a lot here in this country that I live. I really, really, I know a lot of my countrymen may not like this thing that I'm saying, but I have seen a lot of families go to disarray because of this particular issue. Maybe it's a discussion that we can be able to expand on in the future, but I really want to let it
yeah.
out there. And with that, I don't know, I see some comments. Wow, this is great. Oh, talking of the devil, Chichi Igwe.
Hi.
Hi, Chichi. Good evening, madam. She's here with us. Very, very
Oh, so
nice.
nice.
Good. She made some comment. Let's take some. Can you read, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, we are where we are when we are there and should make it our home and be comfortable there. But we should make commitment to our roots and our relationships there and from there. Yeah, I agree.
Perfect. I agree. I share the idea. Great. Then let's take the other one.
We should commit to our children loving and identifying with our roots as much as possible. Yes.
Perfect. She's in harmony with you, and because you made a plan to be taking your
Yeah,
kids
she's
every
my
year.
person. Come on, Chichi, tell him.
No, this is fundamental. It is very, very important. Then
Yeah.
okay,
This issue, this issue, or should I say abuse, black tax, upsets me. I am passionate about making sure it stops.
oh okay, referring to the issue we just now discussed. Perfect.
Yes,
It's a blackmail, to be honest.
it is. It's part of what I deal with during family coaching. Ooh,
You
okay.
see, I told you, Tiasha, and I'm not even doing coaching. I just work with migrants when it
Yeah.
comes to even even as little as the little benefit, unemployment benefit that they give refugees and asylum seekers and everything, it creates a lot of problem. It creates a lot of problem. And when it comes to child welfare, you need to see the fight that do go on here. If you remember, there was a time that we did a show that I invited Abbott,
Mm-hmm.
Joy Abbott, that we discussed about single mother, and she was telling us about people separating. The man is here collecting the whole benefit and everything. These are some issues. It's shameful even to say it on a platform like this, but if I don't say it, you don't say it, the issue remain. Nobody learns. It's very painful. I agree 100% with Chichi Igwe. If it's something that we need to stop, even by
Yes.
talking on platform like this, and we encourage any other person doing podcasts and everything, we have to raise it up.
Yeah.
We have to, as people, and this is the other question that I have in mind really, because I'm curious to know what is your take on it. You've been in the UK for quite some time, and
Yeah.
I, for one, personally, I have seen myself in a situation whereby some issues may arise. Then I see myself in the middle, dragging between which of the society should I make reference to in resolving that particular issue? Should I resolve this issue as an African, as a Nigerian, or should I resolve this issue now as somebody that have been in the European society, taking into consideration what is observed here and everything? Have you ever been in that situation living in the UK
Um.
where you have to discuss between
No.
yourself?
I mean, maybe a little bit because Slovenia is kind of a Balkan, although we
Yeah.
don't fully belong to the Balkan Peninsula, but we refer to ourselves as Balkans. First of all, we are loud. Second of all, we are, fiery, and I'll tell you how it is. Well, not all, but majority wins. Um,
In a very diplomatic way as best as you can.
yeah, kind of.
Tiasha,
Well,
no, we no lie. Tiasha, you no
I'm
get
not,
diplomacy.
I'm not like that. I go. I told you I'm like a bulldozer, so that doesn't apply to me. Please, don't.
You
I don't
failed
want
an
to be
exam
taken
in
wrong.
school. You failed an exam
um,
in school.
but I it was certain times when I needed to hold back a little bit because obviously I'm in a new community and this is not how they solve issues.
Yes,
However, I by no means am gonna deny who I am.
of course.
Regardless of me making a new home, regardless of the environment, regardless of different culture, I am me and I will remain me. And if you don't like it, then you know where the door is. That's how I am. Very selective with certain people around me as well. Like I don't vibe with everyone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They don't vibe with me either, not to
Either.
be taken wrongly. But
Perfect.
I think that, you said as an African or as an Italian, listen, no matter how long you're gonna
Just
live in
being in
Italy,
diaspora. Mm-hmm.
right? But no matter how long you live in Italy, you're still an African.
Absolutely. I'm gonna die as one.
You have culture, you have something that was rooted inside you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't deny that fact. Now you're gonna have situations where, like for example, living in Italy, we all know how the Western world, even around the children is, for example, when it comes to raising them. So yeah, definitely there is no whooping asses like in Africa, for example. That's just an example. You
Mm-hmm.
understand that you can't really stay true to the roots. But other than that, I think that if you can mix it as well, that it goes with both.
Yeah.
But yeah, most importantly, never lose yourself for somebody else.
No,
Mhm.
this is very, very important. This is very, very important. You know the reason why I'm saying this. I have, I think I'm talking about too much about my work experience today, but unfortunately, where
No, this
it's a
is where
blessing
the
and a curse.
experience is coming from.
Good.
Examples, go on. Yeah.
I I happen to work with some people that they just arrive here in Europe and they are beginning to act. They start to act immediately as if they are now a European. Or they know so much about their rights and not the duties, for instance.
Mm.
You know, I was in a discussion just yesterday here with someone, even trying to explain the concept of free healthcare, free bus ticket, free this, free that. The truth of the matter is that just like the saying go, there is no free lunch. It might be free for you as we speak right now, but collectively we are paying for it. All of these things come from our taxes.
Of course.
So if you are not making an effort to be a contributing member to the society, if by all means you can't, for whatever reason, best known or that is obvious to everybody, is one thing. But if it's just the issue of being lazy and not wanting to do like every other person, then I have an issue with that. I'm a black man, I'm an African myself. I have an issue with that. So you you can't just come over here and begin to pretend.
No, you
I
can't.
really, 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 really do have an issue with that. So you can see the reason why I had to go into details to as far as even explaining the concept of fine, this social program and everything that are there to be able to assist people fine and good, but I can't tolerate an abuse and I can't tolerate a situation
This
whereby
is
someone
one
wants to
thing that
take
we spoke
advantage.
about before.
Yeah, I know.
It's related to that thing because people are now traveling the world trying to relocate, not integrating at all, trying to just like, what do you want? Like, leave for free? It doesn't go like that, my friend.
It
But you know
doesn't
what?
go.
Sometimes, because I've been in that boat when I moved to UK,
Hmm.
there was somebody, and funnily enough, he was also a Nigerian.
Okay.
He was working as a security guard in a shop. So obviously, black to black, my husband being black and him being black, they kind of, started greeting each other,
Yeah.
and word gave word, and soon he actually said he's married, his wife doesn't work, and he started telling me about the benefits that I could be getting. Um, I was just standing there and I was like, no, thank you. And he was like, no, but this country is giving this and that. And you, it's like, no, I came to work. I'm not interested because I cannot get all these benefits if I didn't put anything inside the piggy bank. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even feel okay. Like, how does that go? I just moved to a new country and you are already telling me about the benefits that I should be receiving? Staying at home and doing what? Nah. We don't do
It,
that, you know what I mean? And
but on his part, it was coming from a good place anyway. He didn't mean harm.
yes, he might have good intentions, but do you know how that sounds? Like we are all foreigners, you know? We
Yes,
came to make bread, establish our lives. And
by all
no matter
means,
how
yes.
good of a place this was coming from, it sounded horrible.
Yes, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
So
Yeah. So the reason I ask the question is that seeing people that are just arriving, pretending to be Europeans already, knowing all of their rights and not the duties, is a huge turn off for me as a human being, as
yes.
a person. And
This kind of a
I,
people don't make an effort, not just when it comes to, filling up the piggy banks, but they don't make an effort when it comes to integration. They don't make an effort when it comes to education. They don't make an effort for the society. All they care is, let's remain who we are, just in a different environment. And because of people like that, all this globalization and um, relocating abroad, and even how refugees and asylum seekers or whatever are accepted now. That's why, because we lost all the trust in humanity now with this. you know every person that comes to your country now, you are just waiting whether this person is getting a free apartment or is going to pay for the apartment. And we started with this hate toward each other. Even
Mm-hmm.
I, for example, when I'm seeing some fellow Europeans, um it kind of boils my blood, living here for maybe 20 years and not even speaking English fluently. Like, to me, that's like, I mean, what have you been doing for 20 years? Hanging out with your people, which is fine, okay. But me, for example, I'm not interested if there is any Slovenian, let's say, in the place where I am. I'm not interested in that. If I see them, hey, hi, that's it. you know I'm in an English community, and it's fine to hang out, it's fine to make friends, fine, okay. But why just with your people? That's not integration. It's never gonna be. And then they
Yeah,
start, when
but do you
somebody
think
is
there
there
is
for.
some? Do you think there is a particular thing that is holding them behind? Is it a form of resistance? I don't care attitude, or they just don't?
Let's
I
put it out
I
there.
don't know
There are
really
some
how to
countries
describe
in
it.
Europe who think they are superior. There are some countries in Europe who believe they know it all and what they have in their countries is the best. Yet, these are the people who flawed other countries,
Hmm.
relocating.
That's true.
And funnily enough, these people from these countries, then, when they come to a new environment, I'm going to speak about England now because that's, what I can explain the best. Like, they will come from one country, especially what I notice is in Polish people.
Hmm.
They will come to UK because Poland is not good financially, I suppose. They will come, they will try to establish their life in UK, they will work. Mostly they are hardworking. I mean, to those that I know of. Um, they will try to maybe build a house back in Poland and have a vision in the future that they're gonna relocate back to Poland. um England gave them everything, gave them job, gave them bread, gave them educations, gave them basically everything that they needed to survive. Yet Poland is the best. Poland has the best food. Poland has the best medical care. Poland has everything is best. And I ask myself, so why are you not in Poland? And it's okay. Listen, it's okay to be a little of a patriot, as they call them, right?
Yeah, because
It's
one has to
okay.
be proud of their home country.
It's okay. That's totally fine. But I mean, if I had everything in Slovenia, and if Slovenia was the best in medical aid, in school system, in job, in salary, in personal relationships, in social life, in all of that, I would stay in Slovenia.
Yeah, that is true. The thing is that where I am going with this discussion is this. If it is generally said that traveling is part of education, do you
Hmm.
think this is correct for most of us? Due to the experience and the examples that we have given right now, because we give example that has to do with both Europeans and people from the motherland Africa as well. So this is not a racial thing, it's a human thing.
Exactly.
Could be psychological, because at the end of the day, maybe anybody listening to us now that may not know the context or the motive of our discussion might just conclude maybe we are picking out nationalities and the rest. That is not the issue here. We are talking squarely about that idea, that knowledge that traveling is part of education. But you and I are both living in diaspora. I think that it may not be true to some extent.
Oh, that's very funny. You know what I noticed? When people travel to
Hmm.
even other continents and they go for holiday for a week, 2, 3 weeks, when they travel the
Mm-hmm.
world and experiencing new cultures and stuff. I feel like they come with full of knowledge. uh, they come with the best experiences when they see how some people live in what kind of situations, and they start appreciating their house more. I see, like, I hear a lot about that when they go to another country and maybe the water is not drinkable, how they appreciate the fact that we have a tap water you can drink. um those little details. I think
Mm-hmm.
that when they're traveling for holidays, it's much appreciated and they learn, especially when they go to worse part of the world, so to speak, because, unfortunately, it's still the case. Um, but I feel like when it comes to relocating,
Mm-hmm.
and I might go into psychology too much, I don't know, or maybe I might be completely wrong, but that's how I see it. I think that this is how they're overcoming being homesick.
Okay.
I feel like they are trying to justify and say something nice about the place that they left behind, especially to make them feel better in some type of way, or maybe like still showing the respect for the country that they left. You know what I mean? Because,
Okay.
like
It
me,
may
for
be a form of
example,
gittiness, you mean? They might be
yes,
feeling gitty in one way or the other.
yes. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction with that, but I feel like when I say to people
You are
that,
speaking based on
I'm
your
happy
experience,
in
Tiasha.
England,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they look at me like, whoa, what did you just say? Yeah, well, I'm happy. I can't lie. I mean, I always say, when they say, oh, but it's nice in Slovenia, isn't it, the weather and stuff? And I said, yeah, but the weather doesn't feed me. The beauty of the country doesn't feed me. The
Yes.
clean air doesn't feed me. I'm sorry, it doesn't feed my kids. It doesn't bring me the future. And yes, I will always repeat, I'm coming from, to me, one of the most beautiful countries. I'm coming from, a country that has it all, has mountains, sea, valleys, whatever. Fine. But unfortunately, they don't bring bread on the table. And I am not going to try to justify it, and I'm not going to try to do anything. I went where I believed is going to be better for me, and looks like I made it. So I think that some people are just trying to, maybe like sugarcoat the fact that they, yeah, guilty.
With this experience of yours, would it have been different based on your experience due to your what you believe, how you think, and everything? Would it have been different if you were not from Slovenia? Imagine you. Do you okay? Maybe I think the correct thing to say, or the correct question would be this: do you see people like yourself coming from the Africa continent, Southeast Asia, whatsoever, that are naturally not of the white complexion? Do you
Mhm.
see them as well being able to make it in the United Kingdom?
If you know what, listen, wherever you go on this planet, if you take the source, you can make it. If you decide to live in your mindset of either, I think the most important thing here is that a lot of people that I noticed, when they are
Mm-hmm.
coming, they think that everything is racism related. Like, for example, UK people, they are jokesters. They even insult you and laugh. They don't necessarily mean it, but that's how their nature is. Like
Okay.
when British talk among each other, that's like
Yes.
really a stupid example, but they're gonna like send themselves to hell and all of that, and that's okay, they joke about it. But
And they
when the
always say
same
bloody
English
this, bloody
person,
that. So,
yeah, and when the same English person is gonna come to, let's say, other member of European country or Asian or whatever, they're gonna take it
mhm.
as a racism. And
Okay.
I feel like the people need to, step out of a bubble and face the world, because it's not, rainbows and butterflies. But if you had the gut, and I'll say, or no, let me put it like that. If you had the balls to sit on a plane and relocate, why don't you have balls to face the reality? And if you think that you cannot make it, then stop struggling. Either go back or try somewhere else. This might backfire now on me, because, they will say, why didn't you try in your country? I tried, but I also soon gave up because my husband wasn't happy. So my husband was a priority for me. My case is completely different. I stepped down from my needs and wants because of him, right?
Yes.
Yes, I did struggle here. Not I. We both did. With the difference
Because
that
that is what
he had a
you
job,
explained
I
earlier on in
have,
our
I did.
discussion.
Yes, I didn't get a job. Like, I was struggling to get a job because of
Mhm.
education, because of the career that I chosen and stuff like that. It was all in between. But, you know, it doesn't even matter. I'm saying that if you decide to relocate, I decided to relocate to see if my husband is going to be happier somewhere else. And if we can make it, you know, can we both find ourselves in that environment, because it's very important.
Absolutely.
But I feel like people are just relocating because, I don't know, somebody heard, maybe, let's say in Italy there are good salaries, you understand, let's go try it. But, you know, good salaries are so relative. What is a good salary? Like, what are you talking about? Do you even know what you want to do? Do you have a plan? And I think that people are failing here a little bit. Apart from all the guilt and everything that they are struggling with, I think that it's also holding them back.
Perfect. What I understood from your explanation based on your experience as well, I think there are two things. One is an advice, because you said if you taking the plane, move to a different place, you should face the reality. That itself is not a negation that there might not be the instances of racism and discrimination whatsoever. That is not the case, but you are calling for people to be a little bit more courageous and determined that they are already, despite the difficulties that they might encounter in their new society. Because I asked this question on the purpose, in the sense that you are a human being, but despite the fact that you are a human being, you are a woman as well. Because if it is true with everything that we hear, the pay gap, this, that, and everything, and you are just another woman in the United Kingdom living in the diaspora as well. It's not as if you have connections in high places and everything. Like, you are like me, despite
Yes.
being white or black. So I
No, but
asked the
take it away.
question.
You are more famous than me. I'm even on somebody else. Don't compare. Come on. I mean, come on. Look
so
at you.
so so the thing is that I asked the question. I am just trying to encourage other people listening to us right now. Some other women, my dear sisters from Africa that might be watching, that will come across this video. I knew I have a reason why I'm asking these questions. They are very, I selected them on a purpose, because I want them to hear your perspective, personality, Asha, and be inspired by it. It doesn't matter whether you are black or white. And I really appreciate your perspective concerning it with the way you go about it. You are not saying that there might not be issue of discrimination here and there in the United Kingdom, but if one is determined, if you have made that conscious decision to move from country A to country B, you should at least be ready, be prepared to face the reality. And
Yep.
if there are instances of discrimination, there are means as well, at least I know, in that society to be able to address it. And mind you, you don't tolerate bullshit. So it doesn't matter whether, so these things are possible. And I remember about the story you told me about your place of work when one particular manager wanted to go above the line and try to kind of intimidate you and everything. You were able to put him in his place and he stopped.
Exactly.
And
I don't care whether your
good.
name is, I don't know, Mr. President or CEO or a normal person. Listen, I know my place in this world, you know?
Am I correct then, according to you, that at times it is actually that fear or lack of courage thereof? Or could it be, I don't know if it is actually fear. Could it have been intimidation? Or maybe coming from a society whereby most of us do not have means to address this issue. But I'm talking, you are living in Europe already. There are informations concerning things like this. Is it really lack of courage?
I it's very hard to say it like that because look, I'll give you a personal example.
Mhm. Please do.
I am the way I am, maybe because of my roots, maybe because of my character, maybe I don't know. Um, if you compare me and my husband, he's very courageous. He went for a very good career. You understand? He believed in himself. So when it comes to that, he's very
Mhm.
courageous. The thing is that he still struggles with me being the way I am sometimes because like I go for it. Like I'll tell you. I don't care where you are coming from, Africa and you want some special type of respect, or India and you want special type of respect. I don't care. I'm me. Especially if you come to my house, that's who I am and I'm not going to change that. So yeah, he still struggles with that. And I'm not going to say he's not courageous. He was raised differently. He was raised, with certain respect. And even character wise, I would say he's maybe more like considerate than I am,
Mhm.
when it comes to people's emotions and stuff like that. Um, that doesn't mean that I don't care, but like I
No, no,
care about
no. We're
myself
having a
more, you
discussion, of
know?
course.
Yeah, like I'm me, I'm first, regardless. So, um, but I learned something as well, sometimes, especially when I look at myself, in my beginnings, I
Hmm.
notice one thing, and it's like, even if you are not courageous, even if you have
Okay.
that inner fear,
Mm.
if you just bark, and because I call myself, barking sometimes and stuff, if you just bark it out, if you let it
Yes.
go, and you
Hmm.
stand there for yourself, even though you are timid within yourself,
Yes.
do not show it to others.
Okay.
And I think that I grew on that because there were certain situations when I was growing up, that were difficult for me, and like being there alone, even though I was timid little girl, I needed to put that lion face on. And if not anything else, just roar in their face, you understand? Let them know, no, I know who I am, and you can't do this, or you can't say that to me, or whatever. um, and I think that I learned from that as well. And I learned that I gained a lot more respect being the way I am than being that timid person who fears and doesn't know whether go there or there. You understand? Stand your ground.
Yes.
Be
It's
proud of
very,
who
very
you are,
important.
believe in yourself and go for it. Be a little bulldozer like me. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. No, I kind of agree with you. I agree, not kind of. I 100% agree with you in the sense that it could have to do with our upbringing and culturally, as we're speaking as an African, of course, we are supposed to respect other people. We are supposed to respect authority. I'm not saying that they don't respect authority in Europe, in the European society. By all means, they even do in
Yeah.
other way than us from Africa. So, but the idea of getting up to let an elderly person sit down and all those stuff, it it has been ingrained in us. And in some area, just like you rightly say, it appears to be that at times your husband may even make some personal sacrifice that you even describe as being considerate to others now, and he
Hmm.
will He will let something slide and just go. And it happens a lot to us as Africans, we're even in the diaspora. There is this, I can't remember the American businessman name. He was saying that in his journey around the country, around the US, and around the world, he has met a lot of Africans, Africans in bracket, both men and women. The they are very good in pursuing their dreams, going to school, career wise and everything. But in his opinion, what he has observed is that they lack confidence.
Mhm.
I think partly is part of what you just described, choosing even your husband example as well. He going for his career and everything. At times in the diaspora, we where we are supposed to use that bravado, that confidence, audacity, oftentimes we don't do it. We still tend to tell ourselves, I'm just this innocent guy from Africa. I should take this easy. I don't want. Oftentimes, the only group of Africans that are able a little bit to shake things off as well are Nigerians. And most of the times, we are even hated for this as well in the diaspora. We are not like
Yeah.
we are not like every other Africans that are very obedient, that are not loud, that are not this, that are not that. It seems like a blessing and a curse for us too at times as Nigerians in some context. But
Definitely.
I agree with that American businessman. I just can't remember his name. I watch him in his podcast and everything. And when you make your example, even using your husband, something in me click immediately because that is what he was trying to address. No matter how he even make example of Kofi Annan when he was the president of the United Nations and everything, always gentle, this, that, and everything. At times it's good, but in some context, they want, like you said, bulldozer, they want to see it in your face. They want to know that,
Yeah.
look, I'm
You
here
see, I'm
now.
having a conversations with my husband because he's in a position where he's like, you know, a little bit higher. And I tell him like, why do you allow people to walk on you? Like, no, you have a certain position to maintain. I don't care. I mean, I speak like, I that's how I'm telling him. I say, I don't
Yeah.
care if
No, by all
somebody
means, you're
and
not
I'm
telling him to
sorry,
be arrogant.
you know what? I tell him there is a difference between arrogance and confidence.
Mhm.
There is to me that's like a huge step. Um it's I don't know how to put it. Like my husband and a lot of Africans that I know, that I'm a lot in
Mhm.
African community, and I can
Yeah.
speak like then comparing to me, for example. Um, I do stand out from other Europeans as well. Like the foreigners that I used to work with, I'm standing out because of the personality,
Yeah.
and like Pedro, there were situations where I was not confident in myself that I can do it, and I was like, yeah, of
Mhm.
course I can do it. Like, look at Tiasha, you understand? Like, I can't do something, you know? And I was boosting myself with this jokingly way. I was boosting
Yes.
my confidence as well, and it helped me. But back to what I was saying, um, when it comes to this, is like um, giving too many chances. You know, like how many chances can the person really get? I always ask my husband, if you were in that position, regardless of the situation, would anyone give you another chance?
They will push
If
him
the
under the bus
answer is
immediately.
no, if the answer is no, then why the hell are you giving another chance? Because listen, no matter what, those people that you cover your ass for, and the one that you are covering their asses for, and regardless of the situations,
Yes.
if it comes to questioning their career, they wouldn't think of you. So why, if your career is in questioning, because if you do not maintain your respect as a person in a position, then your career is questioned because of one idiot who hasn't learned the manners or things that he's, I don't know what, or maybe you just said hello too nicely in his opinion and he thinks that you have a soft spot. Do not do that. Like, no, you come first. And I told him also, when it comes to workplace, please, I've made a huge mistake by making friends at work. I learned a huge lesson and I will not repeat it again. I can be very good with you at work, but you are not my friend. And I said, stop making friends or stop believing you are making friends and put yourself first. And that goes for you as a worker down there or you as a worker up there. It doesn't matter, you know? And it doesn't matter whether you're in your country or in another country. You got the
Mm-hmm.
position at that work because of who you are. You knocked the interview down. You understand? You succeeded. Like, well done. Clap for yourself. But maintain it. Just because you are living in a foreign country doesn't mean that you need to, I don't know, be timid or like be fearful if an English person is there and doesn't respect you. Like, fuck him. Who is he? If he wants to be in a position, there is an interview open there for a position. Let him apply if he thinks he can do better. You know? And be it in your country, be it in any other country. Come on. You know? And sometimes it's like, yeah, show people respect. And I'm like, yes, all the time. But when I get respect back, I'm not going to respect you if you don't respect me. We end it.
So
You
true.
know?
This is no, living in the diaspora. This is something I have noticed, and I wish, I pray, and I wish we'll be able to change it in the nearest future because I have seen some great people, caliber of men and women that could do exceedingly better than they are doing already. This little being timid, not being courageous enough. And it's very, very common here in Europe, even more than like in the US. Some of us are doing greatly. Then I begin to wonder if it has to do with the environment that we find ourselves as well. At times, let's be honest, if everything in the society you live in tends to, even if that may directly not be their intention, or maybe that is the intention, but communicating a different way to kind of allude you or delude you thinking that the society is a different thing. If they tend to let you know that you are nothing, at times,
Prove them
even as
wrong.
a even as a foreigner, before you begin to change it, it might have eaten into you for some time. You know, yeah, I understand, Tiasha. I'm trying to, because coupled with our culture and with the context that we find here, at times it's difficult. It's difficult. And some
Can I
countries
just
in
add
Europe,
something here, please?
please
To
do, please
me,
do.
that's looking for an excuse. Why? Because if you are, let's say, if you are going from Africa to Europe,
Mhm.
an example, you know damn well you're gonna stand out. So now coming to an European country, you decided you're gonna go,
Mhm.
and now you're playing like a victim. It doesn't work like that. Then go back.
Yeah. So
Go
you,
back.
you you are saying we should stand with our shoulder high and our head on our shoulder and be ready.
Listen, Pedro, if you are consciously leaving your country behind and moving, relocating to a
Yes.
place you know you're gonna stand out. Accent, skin color, attitude. whatever. If you know you're gonna stand out, then why are you going there if you are not ready to face it?
This is so true.
It doesn't work like that. To me, these are pure excuses. You know, look, I heard these stories, right? And especially I'm talking about Black community now. Um,
Mm.
they relocated to the country and they are, I don't know. I'm speaking now the most common ones. They're cleaners. I respect every person who can do that job. Okay, 100%. Because I tried. No, thank you. But where I have an issue with is when this lady said, "Yeah, but where else can I get a job?" You
You
went for
haven't
that job
tried?
because you were comfortable. You put yourself in that position. You alone. No government put you to clean the toilet. You understand? They didn't. You went for the lowest position possible in your head because you thought you are not gonna be seen then. Nobody is gonna, because you are not playing a position, a job and stuff, you will not be faced with certain things and stuff. You decided for that easy way out. My friend, do not cry now. Do not cry about the salary. Do not cry about your career. Stop it. Enough is enough. You make your own decisions. You have choices given like this. Now it's whether you're gonna take them and
Or not?
use them to the maximum or not. It's on you. So don't tell me there is nothing else because I'm a foreigner. I'm facing discrimination as well, although I'm white as them. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not from UK. My accent says it, if not anything else. My name says it, if not anything else. You understand? And yet, I don't have a job at the position, but I know when I go there, I am the position. Because no matter where I'm working, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And nobody can tell me I'm not doing my job good. You understand? And yes, I decided for that career. Am I happy in it? It's not the perfect career. You understand? But I went for it. And whatever I'm complaining about, I have me to blame. So we need to stop pointing fingers all around, but we need to start pointing them like this back to us. We
So
are
true.
reflecting everything that we decided for. You understand? So here, nah, I'm not buying it. I'm not. I'm sorry. There is no other jobs. Well, funnily, I see people, I don't know, walking in suits there of your color. Looks like there are jobs,
Yeah.
So
I watched Ichigwe video this morning or this afternoon when she was talking about the 5 points that we need, especially the message was especially directed to women as well.
yes,
Confidence is one of the main things that she talks about. And
yes.
it is not only women at times that are lacking in confidence. You use example of your husband.
Hmm.
He's a pro in what he does and everything. You are here honestly saying you wish he would have garnished it a little bit with a little bit more confidence and the rest. This is you just being honest, but this is the reality that most of us face.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that at times we torture ourselves, we overthink. Even though we've lived in Europe for quite some time, we still continue to tell ourselves we do not belong to this country. Not that we say that explicitly because we don't like the country whatsoever. At times, the subconscious overshadow the physical manifestation whatsoever. So I think I agree with you, honestly. I agree with Chichigwe on that video and everything. The more, and there is this saying, confidence is the best dress that you can wear.
Hmm.
It's the best, even if you are dressed with a money suit and everything, and you come into the room like this, you are looking down, you are pouching and everything. Nobody wants to deal with you. The best dress
True.
that you can wear is confidence. And being confident, like you said, there should be a difference between arrogance and being confident. Being confident is necessary. We need it, those of us that live in the diaspora, because lo and behold, most of us, we find it even difficult going back to our country to live permanently if some of us ever decided on that. And just let me take some of the messages that is written, then I will ask the question that I have, then we move on to conclusion for today. This is from, I think it's from Chichigwe. The issue, should I say,
Yeah,
okay, no,
we've done this one.
we read this before.
We
Uh,
done this one too.
done this as well.
Hi, Chichi, we love you. She said,
I
nice
love you too.
conversation, guys, as always.
Thank you so much. And this, hey, John, thank you for stopping by. Hailings to
Oh,
you, John. What did he say?
I have no idea. It's empty.
Uh,
Come on, John. Louder.
okay,
That's true, he said.
that's true. Okay, perfect. Anyway, that's great. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you watching us tonight. If you enjoyed the conversation, if something that you relate with and everything, if you live in the diaspora, please share this video around so that it will get to those that may need it. And as you all can see tonight, we are bringing both the African and the European perspective as those of us that are living in the diaspora. And like they say, the world is a global village. We are not particularly that different from each other. Even though you are coming from Europe or from Africa, the experience
Yep.
is the same. It's just our approach or interpretation to it. Then, Tiasha, what have you learned? What have you learned being in the diaspora? What can you say, Tiasha, today in the last couple of years, raising your family, building your home in the UK, as somebody living in the diaspora, what can you tell yourself that you've learned that has changed you, that has had impact in your life today?
Most importantly, how strong I am. How strong I really am. I knew I am, but I never in a million years imagined that I am that strong. As a partner, as an individual, as a mother, um, and also how determined I am. Um, so for me, I will take this experience as a personal growth more than anything else. Obviously I did learn, the cultural differences and how to accept them, and I maybe learned how to shut up sometimes that I didn't know before, and
Mm-hmm.
those little details like that. But most importantly, like, I see it as a personal growth. Yeah, I learned a lot about myself, who I really am, what I'm capable of, um my strength, my determination, my you know mentality. um so yeah, I will take that out. I will really highlight this, couple of things that I am really proud of, as as an individual who uh, went out there and exposed myself to the world, um and made it.
In other words, living in the diaspora gave you the possibility or the opportunity to know yourself.
Yes, yes. Just to take you back before, when you said, about this traveling and stuff and relocating.
Yeah.
uh some people learn a lot, some people learn nothing, and that's okay. We all have different experiences. We have different approaches, and maybe even different readings of situations, or
Mm-hmm.
absorbing of those. um but you know I would say it like that. I've been in Cyprus. I know how it is to live without food and everything, or seeing like, black community suffer there in racism and stuff. And when I returned back home, like, it really changed me as a person. Like, I really appreciated where I'm coming from and what I have and everything. So, that gave me that part of learning, and, seeing other part of the world, Europe and stuff. Um, you know, you see worse and you see better, and that's
Yes,
okay. And you learn from it. But when it comes to relocating and being away from, those that are closest to you, I can only speak about personal growth like that. Yeah.
absolutely. It is perfect. The best form of growth is the personal one because, the best change as a human being that you can actually gift the world, or rather, that is considered to be one of the most impactful to change the world, is your personal change. If you
Exactly.
can make your personal change, you change your environment, then it has an impact on those around you as well.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
really
one thing.
interested, based on your experiences, what would your answer to this question be?
Okay, yeah, it is very similar to what you have just said. For me, it is two, based on personal level and even as a contest. I happen to know that the truth that I was seeking, that I was looking for, could have remained, I could have found it in my country if I had remained there. The context obviously is different and everything. What am I saying with this is that every country is unique. Every country is unique. The truth in the sense that because I thought that my country was the worst, I wanted to go for political reasons and everything. But I didn't know that there are ways and means with which a country is run. And secondly, there is a huge difference between what the political and the elites in your country think. Their mission is way, way, way different from what the common man on the street idea about what a country is all about. So it is very, 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 very different. What I have learned being in Europe or in the diaspora is that every country is unique. If you go to Slovenia, you need to know how, just that old saying, if you go to Rome, you live like the Romans. That is just the surface level. For you to live like the Romans, you need to know how the Romans live before you can live like the Romans. It's not that easy. So living in the diaspora taught me, brought to life for me, the idea of hierarchy. There are levels to things. Everybody have their place in life. You as a person will find a problem anywhere you live if you do not respect the hierarchy. People are ready to kill or die to maintain that hierarchy. I will just use a very silly example. I think I shared a video to you on Instagram some time ago concerning this example that I want to give. Let even say the idea of feminism whatsoever that I met in the Western world, for instance. Do you know that most women that will fight for wages and everything, they don't mind paying 50 cents, €5 to a fellow woman that will come and clean their house and cook for them. The same women that will tell you women are pay less and everything, they will pay another woman like them, a woman that they are supposed to fight for, without contract, without leave, and all the things they fight for, they will deny a fellow woman immediately, simply because in the hierarchy, that other fellow woman is not working in the same realm as them. It's a silly example, someone might think, but this is a real life situation. I'm just using it to explain what I've learned living the diaspora. Hierarchy is something that people are ready to kill for. We all maintain a hierarchy, but we don't want to admit it. It's just some of us, yeah, we all maintain a hierarchy, but we don't want to admit it. I don't talk to my employer, the way I would just talk to anybody, there are levels to it.
Yeah.
Even in your discussion, when you use example as your husband in his place of work, his positions and everything, it just has to do with hierarchy. You have to live in it, and for you and for the things to function, you have to maintain it. If they accord you respect, it's also a maintenance of that hierarchy. And hierarchy
Absolutely.
makes the society function. I might have been a university student thinking that I want to change the world. I don't like it, patriarchal whatsoever, but whatever you call it, hierarchy make the society function better. Can things change? Yes, but it has to be respected. Otherwise, nothing will work. So on the context level, on the societal level, that is what I learned being in the Western world. And these are some of the reasons that I was thinking, condemning my country, this and that is a place that is not good for anybody to live and everything. It is the same thing that I meet here in Europe. Our leaders don't care 2 cents about you. They just want to win election, build their life, and move on. They honestly, they follow trade. The one that is in vogue, the one that they believe that the commoners believe in now, that is what they follow. And a very simple example of it was the inauguration of the last Olympic, the display and everything that we saw, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, but that was a middle finger to a larger part of of the Western society.
Yes.
Agree with it or don't agree with it, it's none of my business. That is exactly the same thing that will happen from where I am coming from because the leaders don't give a damn about you. They do whatever they want to do. If you permit things like that for your fellow citizens to be disrespected in that way, whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't change anything whether you are coming from the North Pole or you are coming from the South Pole. Then the
It's
other
true.
part, as a human being, is very much true to what you have experienced as well. Knowing myself, knowing myself, and knowing my weakness. I didn't know that I used to think of myself being very, very, very tough. Some things happened in my life, especially with the last 2 years. I discovered that I was not that very tough. But what I have learned is that I am able to adapt
Mhm.
to be able to survive. And I think that is what I have always do as well. Probably that is what made me to live where I used to live, to come where I live now. So I discovered that I'm able to adapt even with the pains and everything that comes with it. This is something that I never used to believe about myself.
That's powerful.
And I have I have changed as well as a human being ever since I became a parent.
Hmm.
I see the world differently now. I I am still an activist, but I think I practice more governance now. Because Tiasha, you can't just be teary down, teary down, teary down, teary down. There comes a time in life you have to lead in the society that you live in.
Yes.
We are talking about being in the diaspora today. And that's the reason why I asked some of the questions that I asked earlier on in our show. And I'm really, really grateful that you use the example of your husband. And that is the situation that most of us, despite our certification, despite the courageous move that we made to be where we are, the sacrifices and everything, some of us, one way or the other, don't show courage and confidence, even where the society expected us to do it. Nobody is an expert on anything to the extent that that person is the only person that knows it. Nobody else can contest his or her theory or whatsoever. We
Yeah.
all learn from each other. So, what I'm trying to say is that I am still learning to accept the fact that, look, this society is mine as well. The world belongs to me. I am good enough.
Yes.
I am good enough. I am an Italian. I have the right to be a prime minister tomorrow. I could be an emissary to the Italian society in another country tomorrow. I could represent this society. This is where I have made my home. I have the ability to vote. I could stand for an election and be voted for. I am a leader. But like you said earlier on, Tiasha, if I don't go for it, if I don't embrace it, if I am not confident enough to even give people that idea that they can trust on me, they can be able to entrust me with these responsibilities, I can't do it. So I have been learning to lead. I have been learning the steps and the ropes of being a leader, not only being the one that is always going to the street to manifest. Because what I happen to know, Tiasha, is that whenever I complain about things, oftentimes I am delegating the responsibility to others. It has become an avenue for some of us that are activists to wash our hand off on some issues in the society because we only go out to manifest, expecting others to do the dirty job. So that is what I've learned being in the diaspora.
I agree. I completely agree with you. And whoops, sorry, my kid just woke up. I need to give the
Yes,
milk, so don't.
absolutely. We are
A little bit
concluding
of
actually.
crying is gonna be heard.
Mm,
Just a second.
okay.
Um, what you said is very deep and is very insightful, I should say, because there is not a lot of people of, especially your background and stuff, that are ready to talk honestly, um, in the way you just described it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it might be some type of a pride. So I'm very happy to hear what you just said, and yeah.
To be honest, even if somebody take it as me being prideful, I have earned it to be proud. I have earned the
No,
badge of honor
definitely,
to be
definitely.
proud.
But I mean, like, there are people who are proud so much of their background and everything that they do not even want to admit that, being in Europe, let's say, has changed them or gave them something positive out of it. I'm also taking it
Absolutely.
from this perspective. So
Yeah,
it was
that's
very
true.
nice to hear, that you are one of those, and obviously we are playing by honesty on this podcast anyway, that you openly spoke about it. I think it's very important also for other people that they hear that, and as a man as well.
Mhm.
um and I hope that they learn from it and accept the truth.
I really hope so. Anyway, that is our mission on this podcast, and I believe that we've been able to do justice to our topic tonight. Because if you have watched this video or when you come across it later on, if living abroad has changed you, like we titled our episode today, please let us know in the comment section, and we'll
Yes.
be very glad. And if there is any particular topic concerning living abroad that you would like us to talk on, please feed us the question. We'll do justice to it. Let us just take this comment from Stanley Obina. Thank you so much, Stanley Obina. Then we'll call it
And
a
hi
day
as
for goodness
well.
sake. Good. Living in
Living
the
in the
diaspora.
diaspora
Okay,
has
go on,
taught me
Tisha.
a lot. I learned that
Perfect.
the way of life is very different from where I come from. I learned that life itself is not a joke. Time wasting is not profitable. I learned that I
Perfect.
must take responsibility early for the outcome of my life, just to mention a few. Yes,
Perfect. There is no other better way to end this show tonight. Thank you so much, Mr.
exactly.
Obina. And Any other person that would like to share with us what they have learned living in the diaspora, please share with us. Until next time, have a lovely weekend. We love you all. Ciao, ciao,
Toodles.
ciao.